Hello, this is a presentation and a walk through the role of our Fieldnote Diarists for the B Part project. My name's Sophie Hope and I'm working with Henry Mulhall on some research and evaluation of the B Part project. And this little presentation is for the people we're working with who have nominated themselves or been nominated to be diarists during over the next couple of years as part of the B Part series of projects. So I'm just going to go through here some of the key points as to what it means to take field notes, what it means to be a participant observer, and you can ask us any questions that you have of the process as we go along, and we look forward to working with you on this. So I'm going to go through, introduce to begin with our research and evaluation, and then I'll go through briefly what your roles as participant observers will be. We'll then talk a bit about what a fieldwork diary is, and touching on the ethics of the process, how to keep the focus on the research questions, and also to give you some top tips on how to go about writing your diaries. And we'll also then finish with a brief overview of what will happen to your texts and your diaries. So just to begin with, B Part, as you know, is a partnership of 10 EU and non-EU organisations that aims to critically explore collaborative art making and sharing through decentralised governance models involving local citizens, artists, partners and policymakers. So artists and local citizens in each of the 10 locations are aiming to co-create work that builds on local understandings, experiences and knowledge. The B Part network have commissioned me to devise and carry out this piece of research, which will feed into the project by reflecting on the meanings and experiences of co-creation and collaboration. So together with my co-researcher Henry Mulhall, I will be exploring the different ways people involved in B Part are developing and engaging with the B Part process, how decisions are made, relationships are built and changes are occurring. Our research aims to provide a space for the people involved to reflect on the changing meanings, understandings, motivations and experiences of participation, power sharing, co-creation and collaboration. Just to give you a little bit of background, I work as a lecturer at Birkbeck, University of London in the Film, Media and Cultural Studies department. I'm a practice-based researcher exploring criticality as and at work, and I'm interested in notions of well-being and working conditions, and also theories and practices of cultural democracy. Henry Mulhall, who I work with, is a practice-based PhD student at Birkbeck, and his research looks at how constellations of practice form between arts organisations and community groups in Plymouth, in the UK. So together we are embarking on this project. We are looking at the whole of the B Part network, and the reason we wanted to work with people in situ in each of the 10 locations is because we can't get to those locations, and we wanted to find out if we could work with people on site to, in a way, be some eyes and ears of what's happening. Hence our recruitment of the fieldwork diarists. So over the next 3 years, we're applying 3 methods to carry out our research. One of these is a card game called Cards on the Table. Another is a series of blind dates with people involved in B Part, so we're putting people together who are working on the B Part project but have never met. And thirdly, we're doing these Fieldnote diaries with you. So just to be transparent as well about the structure for this, the financial structure. So we have been given a fee from the B part overall budget of just over €16,000 over the 3 years for both Henry and I. And we've also allocated €10,000 from the production budget from our evaluation costs to go towards the Fieldnote Diarists. So that's a fee of €1,000 for each Fieldnote Diarist. So your role as participant observers is to create we're saying up to 10 journal entries. It's up to you how much you can feel you can write or participant observe in the process, and how far €1,000 would take you to do that work. We're really emphasising kind of, I guess, quality over quantity, in that we'd rather have detailed notes and observations of fewer events than not very detailed notes of lots of events. So I'll go into more detail as to how to perhaps approach this Fieldnote diary making, but they are to be written from your own personal perspectives. Your entries can include, for example, a description of what you've observed and participated in, and your own personal emotional responses and reflections to the questions this experience has raised for you. Your diary entries can include writing, sketches, diagrams, anything that will help give a kind of sense of what happened in that moment. And we're asking, if possible, you could email us your journal entries as soon as you do them in instalments. So whenever you've managed to do a diary entry, if you could send them over, that would be great. And we are aware as well that not everyone's first language is English, and we have a budget for translation. So if you do feel more comfortable writing in your own language, then do so, and we will work to get that translated. We're also asking you to take part in another workshop. We're doing a workshop on the 24th of May, which this presentation is in preparation for, and we'll do another one in 2023 to review the material together. We're also asking you to sign an ethics agreement and consent form, and this will clarify your authorship and role in the research. And we're also asking you to invoice SSW directly for your fee. Okay, so that's the practicalities. So in terms of ethical process, our contract, if you like, is with you as the diarist, and we just ask that you make sure the organisers, the artists and everyone else involved in the thing that you're observing or participating and observing in knows who you are. So just introduce yourself and say that you're acting as a participant observer of this meeting, this event or workshop, and that you'll be taking notes for the research and evaluation of B part. So ask at the beginning for oral consent. If there's anyone who is unhappy with you taking notes, then I would advise you don't take notes after the event, and think about observing something else, a different meeting or workshop where you can get consent. And if you could reassure people that no names will be used in the research, all individuals will be anonymised. And if anyone has any further questions, they can contact us directly. And you've got our email addresses, and they will also be on the information sheets we give you. So also as a reminder, really, because it's a lot, you can't observe and note take everything you're experiencing. So it is a process of being selective and thinking, well, what of all the things that happened in that event do I want to write some more detailed notes on? And maybe to have in the back of your mind the focus of our research and evaluation would be helpful, which is evolving and developing as we go along. But essentially we're interested in these experiences of what co-creation, collaboration and participation are. So when you are participant observing in a meeting, a workshop or event, if you could have this question in the back of your mind, what does co-creation look, feel or sound like? For example, what are people participating in? What are they co-creating in that moment that you're observing? And how are they participating, co-creating? How are they interacting? How are you interacting? Are there any barriers, any obstacles or awkward moments that you feel like would be worth noting down and explaining in a bit more depth and describing in a bit more depth? We have a number of tips that we wanted to share with you. There's the field note taking is a well-trodden path and method, and many ethnographers and anthropologists use it and have to use it in their work when they are researching particular places, communities and situations. So, and there are different ways of going about it. So these are some tips that I've drawn on from other existing sort of methods, books on research methods. And so yeah, I'll share these with you. And of course, if you do have any questions about this, then we can discuss that as well. So the key thing is to be a participant observer, to actively participate. You don't have to sit at the back and watch, and you don't have to attempt to be a fly on the wall. Aim for what some of the people writing on these matters talk about as empathetic immersion. So you are observing whilst participating, which is a skill and not always that easy, but this is what we're trying to aim for. And also you can write from your own point of view. You're never going to be, it's not about achieving an objective position from which to analyse the experience. You are situated and embodied in that moment, so write from that perspective. Write whatever seems interesting or relevant to you within that kind of focus of what on earth is happening in terms of co-creation and collaboration and participation. How, yeah, those moments of interaction would be useful to hear more about. And yeah, you can, I'm saying write, but your writing may also incorporate drawing or sketching or diagramming, whatever you feel most comfortable with in terms of that recording. The advice also is that you write down a description of what you've experienced as soon as possible after the event, while it's fresh in your mind and you can remember as much detail as possible. Don't leave it a day or two, or try and write notes as soon as it's happened. Also include at the top the date and time of the event, the location, and any other factual details. And aim for a close, detailed report of events and interactions. As I say, focusing on the quality of the detail rather than trying to describe the whole event in a sort of surface way. So if you're comfortable in writing in English, please do so. But if it's not your first language and you feel more confident writing in your first language, then of course please do that, and we'll arrange translation with your support. Include your own emotions and reactions in the diary. How did the experience make you feel? What questions has it raised for you? You can put all of that in there. But also, as I say, attend to other people's activities, reactions and concerns as closely as your own, and you interpret these in your own words. As I've mentioned, the quality over quantity. And also what's interesting, I think, is that field notes are more than just a record of observations. They are inevitably part of your processing of what happened and your understanding and interpretation of events through your writing, your sketching, for example. And that is all fine and to be embraced and encouraged, I think. And this is a list from another writing guide I found that I thought would be useful to share with you. They also say it's quite helpful to describe the physical setting and the social environment, the way that participants interact with that setting. physical interactions, frequency of interactions, communication patterns, who's talking to who. So a little diagram of the layout of the room may well help you also kind of get into the room or the environment that you were experiencing a few hours before, for example. And describe the participants and their roles in the setting, who is in that environment. Describe as best as you can the meaning of what was observed from the perspectives of the participants. Again, that is hard because who knows what they're thinking in the process of doing. All you've got is your observations of that moment. If you can, record any quotes or things that people said that for you sounded interesting. Jot those down as well. You might want to have a notebook with you at the time, which is also fine. Whatever you feel comfortable with. And also think about, you've just told everyone that you're going to be writing notes. That is inevitably going to shift the dynamic somewhat in terms of how people interact with you. So you can write that down as well. Write that if that's awkward, if that results in nobody ever speaking to you during the process, or if you feel people are talking to you in a different way, note all that down, all those kind of uncertainties and feelings that has brought about for you, and how you think that might have had an impact on the situation. And also you might want to note down any kind of your own tips or things to remember or things to look out for the next time you do an participant observation exercise. And then finally, just wanted to flag up what we're going to be doing with the diaries. So we, as I say, with these other two methods, the blind dates and the card games, we're recording these interactions and moments of reflection and as we go, and we will be using this information to try and generate a story, I guess, of what has happened over these 3 years. And we're going to be, obviously everything will be stored safely and securely, and we will then be feeding back to everyone involved as to what our findings have been, anything that we think is worth flagging up and sharing as a process of learning about what collaboration, co-creation and participation might mean at these different levels, at a project level, at an organisation level, and at a broader kind of policy framework level. Your own contribution as Fieldnote Diarists will be anonymised, but of course if you would rather be named, that is also completely fine. It's up to you, and you can change your mind at any point. We will share with you the material before it's published. So we can play that by ear, but we will assume anonymity unless you request otherwise. And of course you are also entitled to withdraw your participation and or any specific contributions that you've made from this research at any time. So that's it from me for now. If you do have any questions, you can email me at s.hope@bbk.ac.uk. I will see you in the meeting on the 24th of May. If not, we can talk another time and be in touch. But hopefully that's helpful and a good sort of background and grounding for your Fieldnote diaries and participant observing as you go forward. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.